Don't talk to me or my son ever again. Hello, I'm the Nerf Historian. In this series, I'll be highlighting blasters that I want people to know more about. But first, I will be providing a table of contents here and in the description box below. Please skip around as you need. We're back. First, of course, is the history of this blaster. The Power Strike 48 was released in 2010 under Primetime Toys' Air Zone line for about $30 US. It included exactly 48 darts. This assured maximum inconvenience after the loss of just one dart. This release date means that the competition around that time included two icons of Nerf's in-strike line, the Alpha Trooper and the Stampede. Advertising for this blaster was light. Hardly anyone in the Nerf community knew about this blaster at the time. Its low initial sales kept the blaster from being re-released in the United States. Even if someone had heard of this blaster, they had to get over the ammo incompatibility before they made a purchase decision. Those who did found themselves armed with a foam-flinging superweapon, performance-wise. The blaster delivered great performance for the time, only really becoming obsolete after the release of Nerf's In-Strike Elite line. As for modification history, the blaster has some modification potential. Popular mods included overvolting, making the fake trigger a rev trigger, and adapting the blaster to fire standard width darts with an insert. There was even discussion of modifying ammo, the most popular suggestion being to trim Nerf Whistler darts to the length of Air Zone slugs. However, the Power Strike 48's impressive magazine system also greatly hampers its modability. Any substantial changes to this giant drum would involve changing the entire blaster. At the time of recording, the Power Strike 48 is a prestige item in the Nerf community. Something that you put on your blaster wall to display, but an FDL is better. Operation. First, remove the stock with the button and leave it at home. To load it up, swing the front cover forward and load some darts. Once you have enough darts loaded, close the front cover and prepare for combat. I recommend priming the blaster before the round begins or your blaster is turned on. Once you do find something to shoot at, flip the switch to the on position and start pumping to shoot darts. If the blaster needs darts, darts can be loaded through the loading port on the right side of the blaster, or you can lift the front cover and reload each exposed magazine tube. Let's talk technique. Why did I tell you to take the stock off and leave it? Well, the forward prime of this blaster is so smooth that you can imagine pushing the handle in the direction you want a dart to go. This can lead to some really wacky yet practical aiming techniques that don't involve bringing the blaster up to eye level. In fact, I recommend it. Firing from the hip is much faster and draws much less attention than bringing it up to your eye. Don't forget to remove your batteries after you're done. And now the overview, starting with the whole blaster. This blaster has lots and lots of paint, just really everywhere by modern standards, including the trigger, which is painted plastic despite being a separate piece of plastic. They could have just used yellow plastic. And then there's the stock. The stock is actually red plastic, so they didn't paint this over here, they painted all of this black. Secondly, I have removed the Air Zone sticker and named it a Big Red in Sharpie on both sides. That isn't how the blaster is supposed to be. Now beginning at the front. At the muzzle is a glued-on muzzle tip, of course. You'll have to take this off if you want to disassemble the blaster. Behind that is the blaster's bulge. It accommodates 130 size motors. Underneath is the latch to release. Push it forward to release the front cover and access the magazine tubes. While we're in here, I'll point out that opening the front cover disconnects the flywheels from the power source. On the right side of the blaster is a clear window with a view to these lovely flywheels with the sort of radioactivity symbol painted on them. Above that is a loading gate. A spring-loaded plastic bit covers one magazine tube. You can load darts through that. On top is some cosmetic pieces. And underneath is the massive drum. This drum consists of 12 tubular magazines with non-spring-loaded followers to push darts into the flywheels. The turret rotates on the reverse prime. This also causes the teeth to engage with the turret, and it can't be rotated anymore. On the forward pump, the rack pushes the follower just far enough to shoot a dart into the flywheels. Below the turret on the frame is the priming handle. I'd like to note that the prime is very, very smooth and lovely. Above the priming handle is part of the blaster's literature. Triangle warning! Do not aim at eyes or face. Triangle to avoid injury! Use only darts designed for this product. Do not modify darts or dart blaster. Speaking of literature, on the battery cover is a one-page dissertation on proper battery usage. I'm not going to read that all off. And right in front of the battery compartment is a diagram telling you not to throw away rectangles. Above the grip guard is the copyright information. Copyright 2010, Primetime Toys, made in China. Speaking of the grip guard, it's wild, isn't it? Look at this styling. The trigger, of course, does nothing. It's just a piece of molded plastic. How you operate the blaster is via the on-off switch behind the turret. The on-off switch and this little detail right here are the only stickers on the blaster other than the logo that I've torn off. Behind the grip is the stock release. You simply push it up to release the stock. This is a very unusual stock mounting system. Consists of a flat and a circular with a tooth on it. Lastly, I'd like to note that the screws in this blaster are of the stainless variety, and the screws in the blaster are larger than the screws in the stock. And now an overview of Airzone slugs. Airzone slugs are 50 caliber darts. They are most similar to Busby micro darts, except Busby micro darts have a larger inner diameter and the head actually comes back further. Both of those are of course shorter than Nerf micro darts. Here, for example, is a Whistler dart and a Streamline dart. A roughly mushroom-shaped rubber tip is glued around and into a blue foam cylinder. They're rather hard to see. In this case, they're about the same color. Those are then glued to the end of the orange shaft. I have no idea how they made these so durable. Usually, when something is glued to the end of the shaft, it's a recipe for disaster, quite frankly. It's not very durable. Now, I've been showing you darts that came with a refill pack, but the darts that came with the blaster are a little bit different. For one, they have darker rubber tips. The Power Strike darts also have a clear plastic tube inside, presumably for reinforcement. Usually, this is where I would show you the internals. Unfortunately, this one has sentimental value, and I won't be doing that. In my testing, the Power Strike 48 achieved flat ranges of 32 to 37 feet with a side-to-side spread of just over 1 foot. I compared this to the Nerf Stampede using streamlined darts, which achieved a range of 16 to 23 feet with a spread of just under 2 feet. Yes, streamlined darts really were terrible. Basically, the Power Strike 48 delivered elite-style performance and a massive capacity right smack in the middle of the N-Strike line, far before the release of the first N-Strike Elite blasters. If you want to see more episodes of Blaster Archive, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Enjoy your blasting!